Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So this week we will be doing trigonometry, the basics of trigonometry. Now, most people have this fear or tend to fear trigonometry, but once you just know the basics, then trigonometry is one of the easiest concepts in math, and we will be covering all of these basics in this video. So let's jump right in. The first thing, okay, given we have this triangle, let's call it A, B, and C. Okay. So the first thing to remember, and the most important thing to remember, is that there has to be a 90-degree angle. There has to be a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, you cannot use trigonometry. It's exactly the same for Pythagoras, using the Pythagorean theorem. There must be a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, you cannot use Pythagoras. The same for trig. There must be a 90-degree angle. Otherwise, you cannot use trigonometry. Okay. So now let's quickly look at the sides. The longest side that they give us, we call this the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse. It is most of the time represented by the small letter h. Then this side, the bottom side of the triangle, is the adjacent side. And it is most of the time represented by the letter A. Okay, and this side of the triangle is always the opposite, and it is represented by a small o. Now, why? If you look into relation with your theta, the angle, then this side is obviously the opposite side of the theta. And this side is the adjacent side to the theta in relation to the theta. And this side we just call the hypotenuse. Okay. Now, there are three types we have: sine, cos, and tan. Sine, cos, and tan. We use those three in trigonometry. Okay. Now, there is a easy way to remember all of this. We say so, ka, to, a. So, ka, to, a. All right. So this means that sine theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Okay, let's just do that. Hypotenuse. Our cos theta, sorry, let's do that. Our cos theta is our adjacent over our hypotenuse. And then, of course, my favorite, tan theta, is our opposite over our adjacent. So usually you would write it as this: sine theta is equals to O over H. Cos theta is A over H. And our tan theta is equals to our O over A. Okay. Let's say they've given us this triangle ABC. Notice something. This is Pythagoras. Okay. And they ask us, all right, I forgot. Let's just add theta there, the Greek letter theta. All right, and they ask us, what is sine theta? Not determine the magnitude or find the value of theta. They just want to know, in relation to this triangle, what is sine theta? Now, remember, sine is what? Our opposite over our hypotenuse. So quickly, just fill in. What is this side? This is our hypotenuse. This is our adjacent. And this is our opposite. Okay. So sine is opposite over our hypotenuse. This means that sine theta is equal to our opposite, which is 3, over our hypotenuse, which is 5. Okay, now let's look at cos. What is cos theta? Cos is our adjacent over our hypotenuse. Our adjacent is 4. Oh, sorry. Just write it. Sorry. Our adjacent over our hypotenuse. Thus meaning that cos theta is equals to our adjacent, which is 4, and our hypotenuse, which is 5. Okay, and let's look at tan theta. What is tan? It is our opposite over our adjacent. Okay, opposite over adjacent. So, thus meaning that tan theta is equals to, what is our opposite? Our opposite is 3. And what is our adjacent? Our adjacent is 4. Okay. Okay. Now, let's just quickly go back here. This is the first possible and most commonly asked question, is this. Okay, they can ask you this. Now, the second most commonly asked is they can give you a triangle ABC. They only give you one side and an unknown sign, and they don't give you the value of this side. And they ask you, find the value of x. Now, this theta will also have a magnitude. So let's say the magnitude is, let's say, 36 degrees. Okay. 36 degrees. They want us to find the value of x. Now, what you're going to do is, you're always going to look in relation to your angle that they've given you. At what direction is your angle pointing towards? It's pointing towards, this direction, right? And what is this side of our triangle? This is our opposite side, right? Now, you take the side that they've given the value of, and this side is our hypotenuse, isn't it? Okay, so we know our opposite is going to be first, and then it's going to be our hypotenuse. My, oh my, look at this. Opposite over hypotenuse is sine. So you know you're going to use sine theta. Okay. Now, all that you do now is you substitute the values that you have. Okay. So you have sine theta is 36 degrees. Our opposite is our x, and our hypotenuse is our 40. Now, there's a few ways that you can calculate this, but the most or the easiest and least difficult one, is just to use simple algebra. Okay, so we want to get the value of x. We want x alone. We're dividing, so what are we going to do? We're going to multiply to get rid of that 40. And what you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side. So that two cancels each other out. So you're left with 40 sine 36 degrees. You don't have to put the degrees in, but I always do, is equals to x. So all that you do now is you just substitute in your calculator 40 sine 36, meaning that x is equals to 23,51. 23,51. What did they give it here in? Centimeters. So your answer should also be in centimeters. Okay, and this is the last one, the most asked question that they can give you is they want you to determine the value of theta. Okay, so just find theta. Let's say that's what they ask you. Okay, now, please take note. First thing, always, what do? Fill in your sides, hypotenuse, that is our adjacent, and that is our opposite. Of course, 90 degrees, otherwise you can't use trig functions and trig concepts. Okay, trig functions too, but we'll get to that in a later video. Okay. They want us to find the value of theta. Now they've given us two sides, okay? They've given us an adjacent and they've given us a hypotenuse. So which one are you going to use? Sorry, wrong paper. You're going to use cos, okay? So you're going to use cos theta. Okay, now you just substitute. So cos theta is equals to our adjacent, which is 9, and our hypotenuse, which is 12. Almost wrote h. Okay, now we want our theta alone. So what are we going to do with this cos? We're going to take it over, okay, to the other side. We're going to take it to the other side. So theta is equals to cos to the power of -1, 9/12. Why cos to the power -1? Because when you take your cos over, okay, you're going to say shift cos, and look at that. It gives us a power to the -1, and you have to write this down. You have to write this down. This is a must. If you don't write this step down, you're not getting your marks. Okay, so you have to write this down. So just fill it in then, 9/12. So our theta is 41,41 degrees. So that is the value of our theta. Here we go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the basics of trigonometry. In later videos, we will discuss more difficult topics like trig functions, identities, but we'll get to that. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you for watching.